We live in strange times. On one hand, fitness and healthy eating have become more popular than ever. Millions of people go to the gym, the fitness industry is booming, and every single day new diets, meal plans, and supplements hit the market, all promising a healthier, better life. But on the other hand, more and more people are struggling with obesity and the diseases that come with it: diabetes, heart problems, and all kinds of health complications. Around the world, the number of overweight children and adults keeps rising year after year. One person who knows this struggle better than anyone is Arya Permana, a boy from Karawang, Indonesia, who once made it into the Guinness World Records as the heaviest 10-year-old on Earth. At his peak, he weighed an incredible 192 kilograms. That's as much as 6 normal 10-year-olds combined. His entire life, from waking up in the morning to simply going to bed at night, was completely different from that of other kids his age. In this video, we'll take you inside Arya's daily life. We'll see how he became so heavy, what his everyday routine looked like, and how he eventually turned his life around. And here's a little spoiler. Today, Arya looks nothing like he used to. To find out why, stay tuned. You're watching CurioMind. Before we begin, tell us in the comments, do you follow any special eating habits, maybe vegetarian, vegan, or even for religious reasons? We'd love to know. Arya was born in 2006 as the second son of Adhe and Rokaya Sumantri, a farming couple from Indonesia. At birth, he weighed about 3.1 kilograms, which was perfectly normal. His parents were very poor and lived on roughly $180 a month, far below the average income even by Indonesian standards. When Arya was only 2 years old, his parents noticed that he was gaining weight unusually fast. The reason was simple. During every meal, he screamed for more food and wouldn't calm down until he got it. So his parents gradually gave in, serving him double portions and eventually adding extra snacks, many of them fried or high in sugar. The exact reason for Arya's constant desire to eat has never been fully explained. One theory says that he developed a psychological eating addiction as a toddler, showing withdrawal-like symptoms whenever he went too long without food. Another theory suggests that Arya suffers from what is known as Prader-Willi syndrome. Prader-Willi syndrome is a genetic disorder in which patients never develop a true feeling of fullness, no matter how much they eat. The problem is caused by missing chemical signals in the brain that normally tell the body it has had enough food. As a result, people with this condition feel hungry almost all the time. In Arya's case, neither of these explanations could be confirmed or completely ruled out. What is certain is that his unstoppable hunger led his parents to overfeed him for years. By the age of 5, he already weighed about twice as much as other children his age. Because his parents were too poor to afford medical care and nutritional education in their area was almost non-existent, they continued feeding him as before. Even in elementary school, Arya ate roughly twice as much per meal as a normal adult and consumed up to 5 full meals every day. By the age of 10 in 2016, Arya weighed around 192 kilograms, making him the heaviest person in the world at his age. But what did life actually look like for the heaviest 10-year-old in the world? To answer that, let's take a look at what a typical day in his life used to be like. Just like everyone else, Arya woke up in the morning. But right there, we already see the first major difference. Since his early school years, Arya hadn't been able to sleep lying down. Because of his extreme weight, he suffered from severe shortness of breath. When he tried to sleep flat on his back, he simply couldn't breathe, so he had to sleep sitting upright, leaning against the wall. Because of sleeping in a sitting position, Arya developed a thick patch of calloused skin on his forehead. That happened because he would sometimes nod off and fall forward in his sleep, hitting his head on the floor and waking up suddenly. After waking up, Arya tried to stand up, something that might seem simple but was incredibly difficult for him. Every time he pushed himself upright, he risked falling and struggled to lift the full weight of his own body. Of course, his day began with breakfast. As is common in Indonesia, breakfast was already a complete meal, consisting of rice, fish, beef, soup, and tempeh, a traditional Indonesian soy patty known for being extremely filling. After this large meal, Arya didn't go to school like other children his age. Since the age of 9, he hadn't been able to walk the distance on his own, and after just a few steps, he would become short of breath. So he stayed inside his parents' house for most of the day. After breakfast, he usually moved straight to the small, simple pool on the terrace of their home. The reason was the intense tropical heat in Indonesia. With daily temperatures around 30 degrees Celsius, Arya could hardly stand the warmth without regularly cooling his body in the water. Apart from eating and bathing, Arya spent most of his time playing, mostly on his smartphone. He loved strategy games like Clash of Clans and other mobile games. In the afternoon, when his neighborhood friends came home from school, they often visited him and played together. However, because of his weight, Arya couldn't take part in any sports, something that made both him and his mother very sad. Before going to sleep, Arya typically had one more large meal. He wore a wide men's sarong almost the entire day, because other clothes quickly became too tight and uncomfortable, especially in the constant heat. And just like his day began, it always ended the same way, with Arya sitting on the living room floor, leaning against the wall, trying to sleep while keeping his head upright enough to breathe. As mentioned at the beginning of this video, a lot has changed for Arya in recent years. Even though in 2016 he was still the heaviest boy in the world, today Arya and his entire life look completely different. Since he was about 9 years old, his parents have been looking for ways to fight his obesity. Doctors had already warned them that their son could face serious health problems and might even die from his weight if nothing changed. The first step his parents took, following the doctor's advice, was to put Arya on a strict diet. For several weeks, he was given almost nothing but brown rice. His daily portions were drastically reduced. Even though this diet was extreme, it ended in failure. After many weeks, Arya had lost only about 13 kilograms. For most people, that would be a great result, but in Arya's case, it barely made a difference. The situation became more and more urgent. Doctors feared he might only have a few years left to live, and his weight was still continuing to rise. Eventually, local media began reporting on Arya's story. Almost overnight, he became a national sensation. Newspapers wrote about him. He was entered into the Guinness Book of World Records and even appeared on Indonesian talk shows. Through this media attention, Arya suddenly gained many supporters who wanted to help him lose weight. Among them was Indonesia's most famous bodybuilder, Aid Rai. With the help of Aid Rai and many others, Arya's parents finally received enough financial support to pay for a life-changing operation, a stomach reduction surgery. In April 2017, Arya underwent the procedure at the Omni Hospital in Jakarta. It was a 5-hour operation that reduced his stomach volume to less than 1/3 of its original size. The first weeks and months after the surgery were very difficult. After almost every meal, Arya became sick and threw up. It took time for his body to adapt to the new stomach size, but gradually, Arya got used to it. Over the following year, he lost an incredible 90 kilograms. This massive weight loss opened up completely new possibilities for him. He started exercising, could finally wear normal clothes again, and felt full after only a few spoonfuls of food. Because his skin couldn't shrink back after losing so much weight, Arya was left with large folds of excess skin. These were later removed in another surgery, so that today Arya looks, apart from a few small details, like a completely normal boy. He now plays football and badminton with his friends and has a good chance of keeping his healthy weight in the future. And of course, Arya is now able to go to school again and is working hard to catch up on everything he missed. Despite his difficult situation, things have turned out incredibly well for him. And he can even say that he still holds a world record. That's it for today's video about Arya, a day in his life and his unbelievable story. Let us know in the comments what you think about Arya and his journey, and how you feel about his transformation. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like, and don't forget to subscribe to CurioMind for more fascinating stories. See you next time, CurioMind.